Chapter 3. Is the ADHD diagnosis handy or dangerous at all? A medical disease or a subjective viewpoint? We should move from treating their interruption as a scientific illness to targeting the best ways to help children maximize their ability to focus. So says Dmitry Christakis, a pediatrician at the University of Washington School of Medicine, in today's New York Times debate on whether the ADHD analysis is handy or hazardous to children. Christakis mentions that giving a child an ADHD analysis is a subjective process on the part of parents, teachers, and doctors. In one of the most commonly used and well-validated diagnostic tests, a child needs to demonstrate 6 of 9 specific behaviors on a standardized form to be diagnosed, and thereby get approved for impairment accommodations. But the assessments, usually finished by an instructor and parent, are subjective. They must decide, for instance, whether a kid often has difficulty organizing tasks and activities, or really often. ADHD is a failure to comply with societal expectations. Philosophy professor Susan Hawthorne thinks that ADHD is a failure to conform to societal expectations, not a health condition akin to diabetes. Present standard knowledge is that ADHD is a persistent, physical, and clinically curable condition, comparable to diabetes, but this isn't the case. The diagnostic requirements truly gauge whether kids, or teens or grown-ups, struggle to meet today's social expectations. According to Hawthorne, kids are detected with ADHD not simply because they experience problems, but because they are difficult to manage, like a very active young child who will not sit quietly at circle time. And again, social failure accounts most acutely for the diagnoses of this disorder. Medication, she says, may help children in the short term, but research shows that ADHD medications don't produce improvements in long-lasting education or work achievements. Medication is not always the answer. The opposite side of the argument is represented by Tanya Froelich, partner professor of developmental pediatrics at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Even though Froelich admits that overdiagnosis and medication misuse is a widespread concern, she also thinks that children who struggle are helped by the diagnosis, which gives them access to special help in the class. Medication, though, is not the only answer for a kid who shows ADHD-like symptoms, argues Froelich. The attention and self-regulation capacities of all children can be improved by increasing physical activity, keeping a healthy diet plan, improving sleep, restricting electronic devices, teaching organizational skills, and increasing structure and consistency at home and in school. Pediatricians should take a larger role in educating families about these critical lifestyle interventions, in addition to identifying ADHD and handling its medical treatment. Froelich also explains that kids should not be detected in a 10 to 20-minute visit to the pediatrician. It is the doctor's job to eliminate the many other diagnoses and scenarios that can produce ADHD-like signs by carefully talking to the family, carrying out a physical examination to rule out mimicking health conditions, and vigilantly collecting information from the school. I advise parents or caretakers, medical professionals, and teachers to look at the argument presented in the Times today. The series of articles makes it clear that the hard line separating ADHD-like conduct from regular childhood reactions to ecological stress or normal developing stages is beginning to soften. In that respect, the debate that the Times presents is motivating and long overdue. The number of ADHD medical diagnoses in the United States has exploded by 300% since 1983. With a stunning 12% of America's kids getting the ADHD analysis, it's time to look at the social, environmental, academic, and financial elements that have provided steam to the exploding epidemic.